All right, people, you know what time it is. Let's go ahead and get into this.
Welcome to Wichita Paramotor, coast to coast, where we discuss paramotor stuff with paramotor people about paramotor things. Coming to you from Wichita, Kansas, the air capital of the world. Join us now with your host, Neil Peasley, paramotor instructor and fanatic.
All right, here we go, everybody. Wichita Paramotor, coast to coast. Thank you so much for joining us again in another week. I know the podcast has been kind of sporadic, and there's some weeks we haven't been able to make it, but I will tell you, training has been nuts the last 2 weeks. We've actually had some good weather here in Wichita, and because of that, it's been crazy busy. Same thing this weekend has been absolutely crazy. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was Sunday being today, has been looking pretty good when it comes to weather. So it's been kind of epic. We've had some first flight attempts. We've had a lot of simulator training. We've got new students signing up. So we do have a lot going on. And today you just get me. Again, I'm Leo, the owner and lead instructor of Wichita Paramotor. And let me pull my thing up here, that way I can see people. There we go. Now I can see your comments. So things have been absolutely crazy, just all kinds of stuff. So today we're going to talk about training, how it works, what we do here at Wichita Paramotor. We're going to talk about the new podcast. So we're going to be switching things up a little bit and kind of have a new format. We'll have a new look. It's probably going to be hopefully one of the most professional looking podcasts for paramotor out there. And we'll talk about the future a little bit, what we got coming up and what's happening. Plus, I've been playing with some exciting new products that we're going to integrate on training, and I'll talk about that a little bit too. But today will be a short show. I do have to be at the field at 3 p.m. Well, leave for the field at 3 p.m. And then we'll train till dark. And then next week, weather Kansas is a little less affable. So, like I tell everybody, Kansas is an angry 2-year-old with a dirty diaper when it comes to weather. Very fickle, quick to throw a tantrum. In fact, last night, I got a chance to take my trike up. So, beautiful launch, get my trike up off the ground. I'm up flying around, and I look to the south, and I see a flash of lightning. And, I just checked radar, nothing was showing up. And if anybody who has been in inclement weather flying, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So I look to the south, I see a flash of lightning. I'm like, oh boy. And about that time, I get that, I can smell the rain, I can smell the ozone, and then all of a sudden I get hit with that cold air blast. I could not get out of the air fast enough. And again, I did my due diligence. I checked the weather, checked the radar, It was calling for a 20% chance of thunderstorms, but we went out anyways. We had a fantastic day of training. We never got wet. But that flash of lightning, so if you watch previous episodes, you know that I got caught in a gust front in 2021. And that was probably one of the most scary, the most scariest event in my paramotor career since 2020. So I'm very hyper vigilant about weather. I'm always watching and trying to make sure that, you know, me and the students are safe. And nobody else was in the air, it was just me. And I see that flash of lightning off to the south, and I had a proverbial shit my pants, especially when I got that cold air blast. It had been a really warm day, 85 degrees, and then that cold air hit me out of the south, and it told me that the gust front was coming. So didn't want a repeat of 2021, so I beat feet back to the field, made a couple of swoops around, lined up my landing and got in. And anybody else that knows, I'm training myself how to fly a trike because I don't have any local instructors that can sign me off. So I'm doing my best to, you know, get 50 to 100 flights, and then I'm going to go somewhere and have them sign me off on my 1 and 2. And then 6 months later, we'll do my 3 instructor. That way I can get my tandem. So tandems are soon to come to Wichita Paramotor. If I can get the sign-offs done, you know, for the trike, it'll happen faster. Any shout out to any local instructors in the Wichita area, and not necessarily just close to Wichita, Kansas. They want to give me a hand with the trike instruction. I greatly appreciate it. So on another topic, I wanted to talk about training. Recently, we had my wife on the show, and she talked about some physical limitations, but she's going to train and learn how to fly. And this is a big deal for her. With the physical limitations, myself and some other family members and whatnot have been concerned, some more than others. But you know, in the family, I catch some flack sometimes because they don't think what she's doing is smart, but it's her decision. At no time, and it's kind of a pinnacle point of our relationship, do I ever tell that woman what to do or how to do it. I stay safer that way. You know, I've always thought, because of how safe this sport is, if you play by the rules, load your equipment correctly, and I mean during flight, and play by the rules and do like you should, have a good instructor, pay attention. Even, you know, I talk about there's 2 most dangerous flights that any student will ever have. The first one is your first flight, because you're completely reliant on your instructor. You don't know anything. You can overreact. Everything you do is reactive unless you've been told to. And then the second most dangerous flight is your 100th flight, because now you think you know what you're doing. And we've seen in the paramotor community, most of the accidents, 99% of the accidents that happen to experienced pilots. And it's that experience creates complacency, And that complacency creates a hazard because you stop thinking like you did when you were a new guy or a new person. You stop thinking about how important it is, each factor of flight, and paying attention to each one, just like, last night with me and weather. I could see the dark off to the south, but, I checked the radar first. I made sure that I wasn't going to fly into a hazardous situation. One, because I've already learned and I've already been there. And two, because that's what you're supposed to do. I think, training and depending on your instructor, they set down a precedence on what your thinking is in your future career of paramotor. I was very fortunate that all the instructors that I've trained with that taught me safety, how to put the student first, how to keep them in the right frame of mind, and how to transfer these thoughts of vigilance to the student. And it doesn't work all the time. I've had to dismiss a couple of students here and there, and a lot of it was because of how they were thinking and their conduct. I believe that what you're thinking and how you treat yourself, others, your equipment, your instructor, people around you, that is going to set a tone for how you fly. We've all had the guy at a fly-in, you're getting set up and this jerk will come, set up directly in front of you, or blow air over your wing and mess up your setup. Or while you're getting ready to launch, they'll come zoom right in over the top of your head and land right in front of you and screw everything up. We've had the guy that ground starts on the field even though he knows not to, and then has an explanation of why he gets to do it. I'm not going to say any names, but there's people in this industry like the old owl kicker, Oregon monument jumper, guys like that just do not belong in our community. And what I do like is they're quick to be ostracized and removed from the mainstream part of the community. And I think that's fantastic. As a paramotor community, we mainly police ourselves. Don't think if you're doing something stupid at a fly-in, somebody's not going to come up and tell you to knock it off. And they're not telling you that just to get in your business. They're telling you that, one, because they give a damn about you and the people around you. Two, they care about the industry and they care about the sport. Three, they care about the local event. Nobody wants an event ruined because somebody got a hand cut off because they were ground starting or something. Four, they have an overall sense of what is safe, right, and acceptable in this sport. The family orientation about this sport just really, really excites me, because you can go anywhere in the United States, and I would say even maybe anywhere in the world, and if you put it on Facebook or something like that, hey, I'm new to the area, I want to know how to fly, everybody's going to jump in with you. They're going to invite you out, you're going to have a good time. The paramotor community is absolutely pinnacle to the success of this sport. And guys in the beginning like Jeff Goen, really made that important, as well as the standardization of training. You know, there's limits. There's limits to the instructor, there's limits to the student. And understanding those limits during training and during your growth in flight are extremely important. We have a lot of fun doing this sport, and we do a lot of what people would think crazy things. For us, they could be minimal, you know, simple stuff like a wing over, or something like that, you know, loopy loops and swoopy doops.
Power off.
And but for us, it's easy going. For somebody looking on the outside, they're like, "Holy crap!" You know, I hear people get EMS called on them because they will swoop down, do a foot drag. People just, you know, the bystanders think they just crashed, so they call 911, and the next thing you know, the pilot and his gear pops up into the air after a foot drag or something like that, and has a blast. You know, it's this is one of those sports also that attracts strong personalities. You know, I would say I'm one myself. You know, strong personalities look for stuff like this. So, one, because we can express ourselves, and two, because it's freaking cool, man. I absolutely love this sport. I love everything about it. I had a blast learning, still learning, always be learning. And you know, when I started paramotor, you know, my instructor really pushed the DBAT, don't be a dick, you know, moniker down on top of me, because that was, you know, that's a big point to keeping everybody safe, not only yourself, but those around you, and having a good time, and, you know, keeping the FAA out of our noses. But you know, I started instructing, you know, the first time he told me, "Hey, will you go help that guy?" I I felt like a king. I was nervous, I was excited. You know, I mean, it was simple, just some kiting stuff, but to me it meant a lot. You know, growing up, I never fit in a lot. You know, 6'7", you know, 210 pounds, a little bit goofy. You know, I'm still goofy. But, you know, I didn't fit in with the regular crowd. So finding something that I belonged to, even in my 30s and 40s, was just awesome. I'm 48 now. I'm almost 50 years old. I know there's some of you out there that are probably laughing right now, but I really, really enjoy being a part of this sport and everything that it offers. You know, I found a place where I belong. So first time I went and started teaching somebody to kite, again, I thought I was a king. I was like, holy crap, this is the coolest thing ever. And my instructor, again, shout out to Brian Hummer at Can Go America, he kind of picked up on that. And he would give me a little more each time we'd go out. And then next thing I know, I am the kiting instructor. You know, managing 5-6 students on the field, keeping everybody safe, helping them with the simples, the basics, watching them progress. And then getting to see these people that I taught how to kite get their first flight. And that was just unbelievable. Anybody that is trained with me knows that once you have your first flight with me, I am absolutely in your face for the first 90 seconds. Because I cannot get enough of the unbridled enthusiasm and excitement, the release of endorphins and fear, and the look on their face after their first landing. You know, it absolutely drives me, and just I can't explain how much it fills me up to, you know, watch a student take that first flight. You know, something my instructor did for me on my first flight, and now I make sure that I do it for everybody else, is, you know, I'm cruising at 300 feet. And on your first flight, you know, you're so focused on what's happening, what's going on, you know, you forget to take it in a little bit. And he come over to the radio and says, "Hey, Leo, I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to look around and look what you're doing. You're flying." And that moment was so surreal, and I'll never forget that particular moment when he told me to, you know, to change my focus and look at the cool achievement that I had just made, because I worked my butt off to get in the air. I wasn't the best kiter. I kited from February to August, including motor kiting, before I was able to take my first flight. So it took me a little longer to learn and pick it up, and there was a point too, you know, I had to sit on takeoff, and broke a prop, and I've mashed up some equipment and whatnot. But that moment, he told me to take a deep breath, pick my head up, and look around, was awesome. So now I do that for students. I always make sure to include that in every first flight, so that the student has a chance to absorb this this amazing feat and all this hard work that they went through to become a pilot. And I know we're ultralight vehicle operators, but damn it, when I got my helmet on and when I have when I have brakes in my hand and whatnot, I feel like a fighter jet pilot. And, you know, that really excites me, and that's what's cool for me, you know. And I hope, you know, some of my students get to feel that way too. But, you know, training is difficult sometimes. Making decisions, managing a lot of people on the field. You get those students that are struggling with a certain thing, and you've tried everything, and figuring out how to get through it. I'm not the best instructor, and I don't think anybody is the best instructor. But I think we all have strong points that bring the best out of our students and get them where they need to be, and that's in the air, and in the air safely, and making good decisions for, you know, now and the future. So again, training is one of the coolest things I think I've ever get to do, and I don't ever want it to stop. I even train through the winter. And if you're in the Wichita area, go to wichitaparamotor.com, and we've always got classes going. We've got a full year's schedule. So go check it out. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me as well, either on Facebook or call me directly at 316-990-0482. And I'd love to help you out with anything that I can. So I want to talk about something else real quick. So we've been doing Wichita Paramotor coast to coast for about 2 months now. And it's been pretty successful. I thank everybody for the views, and some of our videos have gotten over 2,000 views. And I really, 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 really appreciate everybody's support. We've had some feedback, both positive and negative, but the negative has been a good teacher for us. And we are, next week, if everything plays out, we will have a total new format. It won't be these one-shot live videos. We'll still do the live videos, but it'll be multi-camera. I'll be able to bring in full panels of guests instead of one at a time. I do have some guests that I'm working hard trying to get to come on the show, some local celebrities in the paramotor world. So, we'll have a new format. And something you guys need to do, we really need your help. We have a YouTube channel called Wichita Paramotor, and it's brand new. It's been up for a little while, but we really haven't promoted it. But now we want to promote it. We want it to kind of take off a little bit. So if you guys will go to Wichita Paramotor on YouTube and kick us a like, we'll start being able to go live there. I think we've only got like 26 subscribers now. I need 50. Get 50 subscribers and I can go live. Go smash that like button, hit the follow, and hit that subscribe button, and help us out there on Wichita Paramotor YouTube. That's a big part of the progression that we're trying to do with the podcast. Also, now it's official. We're on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. So you can catch these podcasts in audio version without video on all the platforms I just mentioned. Again, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. Go check them out. Go hit that like button. You're playing around the field, doing housework, working in the garage, whatever. Throw us on, give a listen. We've had some great guests. One stands out to me is Mike Isbell. The guy's just got a knack for words, and he's really fun to listen to. Great guy. I've had just an absolute pleasure training him. So, we will, like I said, next week, we will have an all new format to Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast. And because of this and because of how many views we get, we're also looking for some sponsors. So we would like to take this to the next level. And because we're coast to coast, I've actually got a schedule coming up to talk to instructors and paramotor people across the country and hopefully across the world. So stay tuned to us, keep watching, keep hitting that like button, and take us where we need to go. Because again, we're all about the fun, we're all about the safety, and we really love sharing people's stories of success and learning experiences with this show. Also, coming in the future, so I have had a chance to experience some new training equipment and some new ways to run the simulator. So my mechanical simulator, a lot of instructors have them, is about to get a huge upgrade. And I think it will be the closest simulation to actual takeoff and landing that we can get when it comes to a mechanical simulator. And that's a mechanical simulator is something that you sit in that has a rig that looks like the brakes and the risers from a wing. It's usually hooked to a winch. The pilot is, the student is hoisted up into the air. They learn how to get it in and out of their seat. They learn how to turn, how to flare, how to land, how to throw a reserve, how to do emergency management like brake fouling and throttle line fouling, and how to shut down a motor when it doesn't want to shut down. They learn all these skills before they ever get into the air. One of the things I like to say is when we run them through the simulator, the only new experience they'll have is leaving the ground. Well, that is about to change. So we're gonna have, I don't want to spoil it, we'll get it in video probably next week, but our new simulator system is gonna be something like nobody's ever seen before. Now it's not gonna be VR, it's still gonna be very, very analog and mechanical, but it'll give them abilities to learn that they've never had a chance to learn before. So the other thing I want to talk about is we're coming up on picking up some new motors and new wings. Now, of course, they're going to be Kanguk, because if anybody knows me, that's probably one of my favorite manufacturers. And one, because the machines are so modular. They're probably one of the easiest to break down and put together. The netting systems are renewable. I'm not going to drop any names here, but I've got another brand, Had a Bad Net on it. It took several weeks and $800 in cost and shipping to replace just the netting on this machine. So with Kanguks, the netting is renewable. You can even string it yourself, or and it's materials you can go buy at Walmart or a sporting goods store. I'm not going to give everything away on them, but and I'll tell you, the thrust line on a Kanguk is probably the best, and the best for me. Again, I'm 6'7", I'm 250 pounds. I'm a big guy, and having that really straight thrust line into the center of my gravity makes it really easy to take off. The lean back almost just comes natural. And I see this with a lot of my students, before I can tell them to lean back, they're already in the lean because of the thrust. Thank you. I see them hearts. Yeah, thank goodness for modular frames. I agree. I used to be able to stick this thing in a Kia Soul with my wing, with my gas tank, or my gas can, and it would take me about 8 minutes to put together and about 4 minutes to tear apart. So, super, super modular, super easy to transport around the field. And they look good. Love Kanguks. So we're going to be, here in the future, we're going to be adding some new motors to our situation. Right now we've got some 80s and we've got 185s. we're going to add a little bit of both. And then I want to talk about something that I got to play with here recently, actually 2 of them. So about 2 months ago, actually it hasn't even been that long, about 6 weeks ago, one of the APCO dealers that I deal with got us some demo wings to play with, and one of them was the APCO F5. And if you know anything about the F5, well, let me explain. They have 2 systems. One is a kind of dumbed down riser for school, and then you can upgrade the riser system and it makes it a more advanced wing. I was a little heavy on it, but this is probably one of the funnest wings I've got to fly in a long time. The F5 was an absolute blast, and safe, and they're pretty. A lot of people talk crap about the Mohawk on top, but I've put these things through their paces. I've dumped the brake down to the bottom of the swing arm and let it up, and these things barely oscillate. And I've started moving my students towards the F5 just because of the stability and what it offers in the way of upgrades and growing with the student. The other one, now yesterday morning, I got to fly the the APCO F7. And the reason why I'm giggling is I've never had so much fun on such a benign wing in my life. I put this thing through the paces. So the dealer that gave me this demo wing to play with said, hammer it, see what you can get out of it. So I take off, get up in the air. First thing I do, I'm at full throttle on takeoff, and I dump the throttle, go to idle just as quick as I possibly can, and I'm telling you, this thing went. There was no surge. I couldn't surge this wing if I tried. It's like the F5. It has the Mohawk on it, and so I wanted to see about oscillations. So I full on dumped the right brake all the way to the floor, held it for about a half a second, and jammed it up. And this thing went, it corrected itself within three revolutions of the oscillation. We're talking about roll oscillations. And this thing, I did everything I could. I tried to swoopy dupe it, nope. I tried to surge it, nope. Tried to oscillate it, nope. At one point, I dumped the right brake just as deep as I could and held it. And this thing made the flattest hairpin turn that I've ever felt out of any wing in my life. When you let off throttle, like say when you're coming in for a landing, a lot of times the wing will dip forward, and then you have that first set of pressure to kind of level it out. It came in level. The flare was super authoritative, strong, big authority on the flare. And, it was butterfly kisses touching down. And I could see this being a pinnacle trainer for schools out there when it comes to the F7. This is such an amazing wing. And I really think it would bring the most out of a student, not to mention getting them in the air faster. I had a couple of my students kite it, and I got nothing but positive reviews. One of them was a little tiny guy. In fact, you've seen him, Mike Isbell. He kited that wing for probably, I want to say a good half hour, maybe an hour. And he's doing a reverse in 4 miles an hour with authority. That wing's staying up. It's you know, it was reactive in 4 miles an hour. I just could not believe how well this thing performed as a beginner wing. And that's what made it fun. As an instructor, you know, I fly a Luna too. And, you know, it's not the fastest wing in the world, but it's got some cojones, it's got some buzz to it. And, you know, going to something like the F7, it was a blast, absolute blast to be able to hang out on something so fun and so benign. And super, super stable. I cannot get over how stable this wing was. And in turbulence, you know, I purposely found some mixy air. It was a pretty calm morning, but I purposely found some mixy air to put this thing in. And it was like slow waves on a boat. So I could see also where you could open your weather window a little wider on what weather you'd be able to put a student in on a first flight. Because this thing is just super, super benign. APCO has got some amazing stuff come out. I've flown 3 of their wings now. I've flown the F3, which is a spicier version of the F5. And I was way overloaded on it, but it was that was a lot of fun. It was a very reactive, very efficient wing. And then I've flown the F5, and then I've had the pleasure of flying the F7. You know, we all use you know, a lot of us use their harnesses. They've got some great, you know, small kiting wings. APCO is really coming up when it comes to their technology and what they offer to schools and to students. So I recommend checking out APCO. And again, I've got some APCO products on my website, wichitaparamotor.com. And if you ever have any questions or want to learn more about APCO products, or just how I feel about them and my experience with flying and playing with them, please reach out to me. So again, I talked about the trike. I'm working really, really hard to get my tandems. I feel like that is the last missing piece to my school. Being able to offer discovery flights and take up, you know, students at the end. Now, I could go for foot launch right now, and I think that has its place. Foot launch tandems, I think, would work in certain situations, but if somebody stops running, we all break everything. But with a trike, you know, you strap them in, and it's kind of like a carnival ride. Keep your hands and feet in the ride at all times, and then they giggle and have a blast. And you don't have to worry about anybody else's performance other than them just staying put. So I think trike is going to be the most efficient way to promote and grow Wichita Paramotor when it comes to tandems. So I feel like training myself on trike, you know, I've literally gone and watched a million videos, a million don'ts, a million do's. One thing I do like about the USPPA and how they standardize the training, the syllabus is simple, and you know, I feel like my trike journey is just expanding. I've rolled the trike a couple of times in my first few flights. Now they were soft rolls, didn't really break anything. Didn't break me, just a little pride there. But now I'm pulling off those decent landings. I'm having such a blast. The takeoffs are real smooth. The oscillations are going away. With my trike journey, I think, in a way, doing it on my own, I'm getting more out of it. Now, granted, it's more trial and error, but I'm getting more out of it than I could in a fast track with an instructor. Now, that being said, I know there's some spots and some dark areas and whatnot that I'm not seeing and I don't know about because I don't have a seasoned trike pilot as an instructor to guide me through some of these things. So, makes me super cautious as well. But I'm having a absolute flat blast doing it. So, anyways, Back to the Future. New podcast coming up. Whole new format. Everything's going to look different. Hopefully you guys enjoy. YouTube channel, Wichita Paramotor on YouTube. Go hit that up. Hit that like button. Subscribe so we can go live there as well. Remember, we are on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. So if you want to listen to one of our podcasts on the go or when you're relaxing at home, that's a good way to do it. Now we do take these videos from the live. We take them to the YouTube channel. We download them, take them to the YouTube channel, and put them up there. So if you want to review anything that I've talked about today, YouTube is the place to do it. Because unfortunately, Facebook only allows lives to stay on your page for 30 days. So if there's a previous episode like Mike Isbell, some of the first episodes we've had, Jeff Carlson, go to YouTube. And if I'm not mistaken, that's youtube.com/Wichita Paramotor. And check out some of those podcasts. But I've got to get ready for the field. If you're in the Wichita area, we will be training today. It is June, let's make sure I get this right. It's June 1st, Sunday. And we will be at the field in Norwich, Kansas. You can look it up. It's K49, I believe. Anyways, Norwich, Kansas, Norwich Municipal Airport. And a shout out to the community there and all the support that they've given us over the years that we've been out there flying, especially with the Norwich government. They have been, city government has been really good, accommodating, and we're glad to be part of that commerce and help build that city. So anyways, again, if you want more of these podcasts, go to Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, YouTube Music. Hit and smash that like button, set up notifications. Go to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And have fun out there. Fly safe. Do all the right things. Promote this sport the best you can. I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. And we are going to call this one a wrap. Again, everybody have fun. Thank you very much. This is Leo Kiesling with Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast. And we'll see you next time. All right, for some reason our outro music did not play, so I apologize about that. But thanks for everybody joining us on the Facebook Live. If you have any questions, anything like that, please reach out to me, Leo Kiesling at 316-990-0482, or go to wichitaparamotor.com. We love to have you. Smash that like button, hit them notifications, and thank you for watching. Everybody have a great time. Be safe out there. Happy flying!